Hello and welcome to episode 119 of the MisanthroPod. I'm Snipe, and as always, I'm joined by Wib. Say hello.
Hello.
And I'm also joined by the Drumble Bumble. Say hello.
Hello.
Did you two know that the next Tekken 7 character is the Prime Minister of Poland?
What?
Not the actual one, it's just some random woman who is in the Tekken universe is the Prime Minister of Poland, and she's entering the Tekken tournament. Apart from that, how are you lovely gentlemen doing today?
I'm thoroughly confused.
Yeah, I'm doing okay, but I don't know what to do with this information you've suddenly foisted upon us.
Well, I couldn't be bothered to think of when it would be appropriate to say, and it just came to me, and I was like, fuck, you know what, yeah.
Segues are for cowards.
They are. I know people who use language to make sense, and they're cowards.
That is true. Matt, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm having a bit of the old mental health wobble. But which I only mention because it feels disingenuous on this podcast to not mention it. But I'm fine, really, so I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I am also currently feeling I've had a bad day today, so I completely empathise with you. So let me talk about eggs, plural, probably.
Eggs? You want to talk about eggs?
Yeah, hi egg, deleted egg.
What are we doing with eggs?
We're talking about them.
Okay. What are we doing? Kinder eggs, chicken eggs, duck eggs?
I've never had a duck egg, and I don't think I'd want to.
They're good. They're tasty. What about mini eggs?
Mini eggs
are
fucking
solid.
Legit.
They really are
very tasty.
What about cream eggs?
Cream eggs are okay, but for some reason, I think it's just there's so much sugar in it that it always gives me toothache.
I get that. I personally prefer the caramel eggs that are basically the same thing, but they have caramel inside instead.
You are an absolute
Have they been downgraded? Because cream eggs used to be, like, excellent tier, like top of the top for me. But then, as quite often happens, the Americans ruined it. Sorry, any Americans listening, but Kraft bought Cadbury's and they stopped using dairy milk for the cream eggs. They just started using, like, random other chocolate, which is just nowhere near as good.
Is that right?
Yeah, so if you've noticed in the last few years, they've been like, they're still good, but they're just a lot worse than they were. They're not like perfect anymore.
I think I have them so infrequently, I haven't noticed.
Oh yeah, so. It's very disappointing. Apologies, Americans, but I'm sure you're all very aware that your chocolate is terrible.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, Hershey's chocolate is like basically inedible,
and like this isn't as bad as that, but it's not dairy milk anymore.
Yeah, it's that weird thing where like I've tried like really fancy chocolate, like you know
I really
fancy
like
Belgian chocolate and stuff like that, and I always just eat it and go, I still kind of prefer dairy milk.
Yeah, it's just it's milk chocolate, so if you're like classy and prefer dark chocolate, milk chocolate might not be for you.
Dark chocolate is fucking garbage, and I hate it more than anything.
It's nice. Have you tried it with sea salt in?
I don't like sea salt and chocolate.
Oh, it's beautiful.
The only dark chocolate I can deal with is After 8 Mints.
Ah,
that's the because otherwise it usually gives me headaches.
Oh,
I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, don't eat it if it gives you headaches. That's
no,
fair.
that's why the only dark chocolate I eat is After 8s, and also the best chocolate ever, I'm afraid, is Lindt hazelnut chocolate. Like it's literally just got big old fucking pendulous testicle-sized hazelnuts in there, and they're very, very tasty, and I'm very upset because I want some.
I don't like Lindt chocolate very much.
Well, it doesn't like
what
you.
About
it's fine. It's fine, but it's
What about the Lindors, the like truffly ones? They're pretty
I don't like those. I like.
I'm talking purely about the quality of the chocolate itself, not like its combination with flavors, with other flavorings and stuff. So.
Okay.
Okay, it does show that we've all got a lot to speak about today, that we went off on a tangent about eggs that quickly became about chocolate for a while.
Yeah. Also, to remember, you were going to say something at me, probably being like, Snipe, why are you so fucking weird about testicles or something?
Yes. I like how when you talk about the size, rather than specifying something that was the size you wanted, you modified the size of testicles. Like, it's not the size of something that's the size of that thing. It's the size of testicles the size of that thing.
Yeah, it's like a large boulder the size of a small boulder.
Yes. Oh, yeah, beautiful. Okay, fine, I accept you.
Orange peanut. Thank you very much.
Anyway, Matthew.
Yes.
What have you been up to over the last couple of weeks, my friend?
I have. First off, we've watched 2 different series. And I have one of them I thoroughly recommend, and one of them it's a tricky one, but I don't think I recommend it. So I'll start with that one first. So we've been watching, no idea where it's from. It was on Netflix. Who knows who made it? It's called The OA.
Oh, the OA.
Yeah, the letters OA.
I'm sure I actually tried to watch that, and it was so fucking awful.
Yeah,
Isn't it about like it's about some woman who's like super cool and like she's been like genetically modified or something, so she's like superhuman or something. I can't remember. I watched a couple of episodes.
So it's sort of a sci-fi, but actually not. It's slightly sci. It's not like at all like, you know, lasers and space sort of sci-fi. It's just like possible slightly weird technology sci-fi side of things.
Okay.
And it starts off, and this kid, and you see when she's like young, she has a near-death experience, but comes back to life, and then later on, she gets. This is slight spoilers, but it's for the first episode, so I kind of feel like that's fine, right? So she gets like abducted by this guy who wants to do research into people who've had near-death experiences, because he wants to basically find out if there's an afterlife, and he wants to be able to like objectively prove that there's an afterlife. So he thinks that these people who have had near-death experiences have actually died. They've come back, and he can like record them when they're dying, so that he can like get sounds from the afterlife to prove that it's there. Basically, that's the same sort of gist of it.
Okay.
But it's also a lot of it is all like this person who's called OA. She's got another name which I already forget, but she calls herself OA. Which you eventually find out what it stands for at the end, but I won't mention that because it's
ooh.
It's ooh-ah. Yes.
Ooh-ah.
Perfect. So a lot of it is like it's set after she's escaped, and it's sort of set around. It's her in now telling the story to some people via a series of flashbacks, sort of thing. That's the sort of conceit of it. So a lot of the footage is like now and her life sort of slight struggles after coming back and things, and then a lot of it is flashbacks about what life was like in this like weird cell. There's like 4 or 5 of them, and it's them trying to escape basically. But
I do remember that if I'm remembering it correctly, that the main actress, the woman who plays OA, is just dead on her ass. She's not a good actress at all. Maybe she's badly directed.
She's not very compelling. Like, it's sort of, I don't know, but it almost fits with I don't know whether that's the character. Yeah, I don't know if it's the direction and it's the character and they're trying to make it seem like that.
Yeah.
But she's not the most interesting or like engaging, and it's her telling the story, so it's a bit, and the thing I did like about it is that the whole way through you're not quite sure as to whether the things that they're doing, so that these experiments that he's doing on the people where he's like trying to record the sounds of the afterlife and things, and that she's got these like weird, not quite spells, but sort of weird magic move things. And the whole way through, you're kind of, but the whole way through you're never quite sure any of it is real or not, which I quite liked. And by the end of it, by the end of the series, you're still not 100% sure as to whether any of it was real or not, or whether it was just like she just needs help and she's made up a load of the story and all this sort of stuff.
I escaped and I found a nice summer home in Appalachia, in the Appalachian Mountains, and I rode a bear and its name was Cardboard, because I couldn't think of anything else. Also, it rained approximately 47% of the time. That's just how I remember her.
Okay.
And it's like, and also I would have basically, if I were the OA, if I was Uwe, I'd be like, yeah. So guess what? Okay, you're gonna laugh. When I was a kid, I got hit by this big fucking truck. You should have seen the truck, am I right? That had a near-death experience. So, get this scientist abducts me, and he basically says that I am the Star Child. Yeah, I would have made it so much more interesting. It's like, and you know what? Like, fucking suddenly, Star Wars was real, and I went and I like, hung out with the Blurgs, and I drank bantha milk, and you know what? Darth Vader was like, you know what, lady? I'm in love with you. And I was like, no, thanks. No, thanks, Darth. I'm all right. You're not really my type. I appreciate it. I'm flattered. I'll put some good vibes out for the universe for you. And then I went to it was actually really fun. I went to a marshmallow tasting like party with the Mandalorian because he's been into me for a while, and I'm like, throw him a bone, have marshmallows with him, which is really fun because like shoving marshmallows through like the 1/4 of an inch gap in the bottom of his helmet was really fun.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I feel
my favorite marshmallows though were pink.
Okay, I feel that the show
like, at the
would
end
have a bit of a different tone were you in control.
No. Then at the end, I have to like get to the Royal Albert Hall to do a gig, and everything's in my way. And I'm running. I'm in a beautiful full-length wedding dress because I've just got married to the Mandalorian. And Jon Bernthal, and the Punisher played by Jon Bernthal, and like, so they're kind of like, I'm holding their hands and like running, like Naruto running with them behind me, and like I burst in, I run up, there's explosions happening because aliens were invading, but I beat them all, but there's still some C4 left. But if I don't get to the big concert and do a gig that is coincidentally being broadcast to the entire world, which will, because I have a time-traveling future Jon Bernthal, who's my friend in this.
How many Jon Bernthals are present at this point?
Oh, no, that's also, like, Frank Castle.
Okay.
Yeah, he's also the time-traveling
I wanted to
one.
establish whether there was 3 or 2.
Oh, yeah, there's 2, yeah. We're a four-pull.
Okay.
Yeah, no, if
okay.
like Jon Bernthal, like we're just friends in this. But like Punisher, Jon Bernthal, we're married. Same with Mandalorian and me, you know. And Chris Redfield is also there.
Okay.
And then I get there and I play like a really sick, like fucking like Squeedly Meadly kind of like awesome kind of like guitar solo, and then my guitar turns into a banjo, and I'm just like bluegrass and like ain't no one's fucking business, and everyone in the world sees it, and there's gonna be like a cutaway to an Italian guy trying to watch Mr. Ed. It's dubbed in Italian. He's really mad because it's just me playing the banjo, and then he's like, whoa, in Italian it's subtitled. He's like, this person is shredding their banjo, and obviously I'm very intelligent, capable, lovable, and handsome, and really cool and stuff. And then all weapons are just like, all humanity just goes, you know what, we're never going to war again, and they never do. Now, how much more entertaining would that be than the fucking OA?
Yeah, the show is not that. I don't think anything is that. Something else.
That's my script doctor. Also,
Okay.
I have the shadow powers.
I was gonna
cloud
ask
people's minds and stuff.
I was gonna wonder how long it'd be before some element of the shadow appeared. Also, I have to ask.
Please.
How much sleep
keeps
did
the
you
helmet
get
on.
last night?
Oh, more than I'd like, but less than you'd hope.
Okay. Okay, Matt, do you want to...
Oh, shit, yeah, Matt, what were you talking about?
The OA.
Yeah.
My version was so much more entertaining, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it really was. Like, we watched it because we thought, oh, no, you know what, it's one of those ones where, like, we kind of want to know what happens. We want to know what the OA stands for, because it's like, you know, letters. We want to know if it means anything.
Uar.
Yeah, we should have just accepted it was UR and moved on. Yeah,
she turns out she's the missing, like,
She's the missing Wurzel
member of the Wurzels.
She was the Wurzel who left before they became famous.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So she's like, ooh, and then, then she, like, gets her memory back, and she's like, my name is Wurzelita. Ooh. And then she goes and buys a fucking tractor. And honest, that sounds, I actually watched that. I would happily watch that.
Yeah.
So I'm just so enamored with my own idea of that fucking show. Mainly because I'm in it and I get to marry loads of fictional characters and wear a bomb-ass wedding dress. No. It's like the actual actor John Bernthal. He's a very happily married man. So we're just super good friends.
Okay. Right,
and he's
you're just gonna marry all of the characters he plays.
No, actually, not all of them, because he plays a fucking neo-Nazi in one movie.
Okay, right.
And I'm like, oh, maybe I could marry him, put life insurance on him, and then get the Punisher to fucking stomp on his head until he dies. But I don't know.
And then marry the Punisher, but then also do the same thing to him because he's also not a good person.
And then I just, you know what? I think the Mandalorian would be my main husband. I think. You're there too?
I am also there.
You are also
I suppose.
You're in a coma and I can't quite get over you, which is why I can never really open myself up to the Mandalorian emotionally. But he's like, I'll wait for you.
I'm not sure how good it is that your dream situation is we're in a coma.
Yeah, but it's
a little concerning.
It's a sexy coma.
Okay, right, yeah, good.
Ooh, he got hit by a sex bus, and now he's in a sexy coma.
He got hit by the fucking bang bus.
Not one of the sexy trades you were talking about last time.
Not a sexy train, no, because...
Ruth called me, just out of absolute nowhere, she called me a train fucker, and I didn't realise she'd listened I didn't realise she'd listened to the podcast. I was like, what are you saying?
Okay, I don't know when children start talking, but you can't say that around your child.
I really can't.
It's like, who's that, mama? Who's that train fucker?
Yeah, it probably won't go down too well. Anyway, the OA...
Oh, yeah, that shit.
Yeah, that shit, yeah. We watched it because we wanted answers, and long story short, we should have realised that there's a second season. Obviously, there's not really going to be answers. And we've kind of used that as a line under it, and we kind of just haven't bothered watching the second series. So
also, can I just interrupt one more time very, very quickly?
Yes.
If you ever find yourself watching something like that where you're like, I guess I kind of want to know what happens, just stop watching it. Call me and I'll tell you what happens. And it'll be way more entertaining than anything they can do.
Yeah, but the problem is that description you give might make them then carry on watching to season 2.
Yeah, and then
that sounds good, actually.
And then it won't happen, and then there'll be a sense of betrayal, and then you will be the betrayer.
No, that's Ruth.
Nah, she's War Master.
Oh, she's War Master Ruth. Who's like, oh yes, look upon my husband, train fucker.
So long story short, I probably wouldn't recommend the OA unless you've really run out of other things to watch. It was quite well made and it was, blah blah blah, but it just wasn't that interesting in the end. I think we were hoping for more. But yeah, the OA, we stuck with it. The other thing we watched, which I would highly recommend, probably one of the best bits of telly I've seen in quite a long time, Lupin. Is it Lupin? But it's French, so you have to pronounce it silly.
Lupin.
Oh,
is that like Lupin the Third, or is it like that live action one that I've seen?
It's a French TV series about a heist dude.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Lupin the Third is like...
I don't know.
He's an ancestor of the same fictional character, I believe.
No, really?
I think so. I think that's where that comes from.
Possibly,
see,
yeah.
now,
So Arsène Lupin...
The fucking horse hockey I just spun, and I'm having trouble believing you. I think you're...
Yeah, no, he's, if I remember correctly, and anime fans...
Go away. I'm joking, I'm an anime fan. I should go away too.
Forgive me if I get this wrong, because I've never seen any of the shows or read the manga or anything, but the Lupin the Third is an ancestor of the same character that is a fictional character.
Okay.
Lupin.
Okay.
Is he a fictional character or is he based on a real person? I don't know. I don't care either.
Is this the same Lupin that I'm talking about?
Lupin.
Yes.
It's a series of books from, Victorian times, maybe? I can't remember when they were written.
Yeah, weird.
But yeah, he's
you dumb fuck.
the anime character is supposed to be a descendant of that same character.
Okay.
Also, that's basically like Okay, yeah, I get you.
So as far as
That
far as
blew
I'm
my
aware,
mind.
and there is so much Lupin the Third. Like I follow someone on Twitter who's big into it.
Oh, okay.
And they talk about like the shit in it, and I'm just perpetually confused because it's been going for decades and decades.
Oh,
and
is
it's
this like
so
a
deep.
One Piece kind of thing or a Bleach thing where there's just so fucking much of it? What's the point?
I think more a case of that there is a lot of it, and it's kind of self-contained, so it's very easy to consume as opposed to being long things.
Okay.
But it means that that there is all these different interpretations of the same characters, so some of them are monsters and some of them are quite nice. So it's kind of a bit weird thing. But anyway, carry on with the actual thing we're supposed to be talking about, Matthew.
So yeah, I'm not sure how any of this links to what you were saying. So it's a series, and it's about a guy who's inspired by this Lupin, who could be the same Lupin that you're talking about, possibly. I'm so lost at this point. And the first episode is like just a self-contained, like basically heist film, but like an hour-long TV show. And it's just he's trying to rob a necklace from the Louvre Museum in Paris. And it is I'd say a soft spot, but it's more than that. It's probably a hard spot for heist films and heist things. They're just
Excuse me.
I just love them. They're just excellent.
No, I'm not moving on from a hard spot, mate. You're not getting away with it.
It's more than a soft spot, so you know.
Turgid spot.
No, don't say turgid. I've read porn where they're like, oh yes, and his straining turgid member.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, don't.
Turgid.
Don't ever use the term turgid to describe a peen.
I mean, I was intentionally
Say
alluding
rigid,
to that exact thing.
Stiff.
Turgid.
No, burgeoning. Full of blood. Bloodful.
Throbbing's a classic.
Throbbing. I mean, that's more of an... Yeah, okay, well, that works too. Straining is a really good one.
No, that makes
straining against the vile, prison of his... I don't know.
That makes me think it's going to explode.
No, straining against, his fucking onesie. Desperate
Straining
to be free.
against his Minecraft creeper onesie.
Oh my god, if
Matthew, carry on with the subject at hand, please.
So, yeah, this first episode is a heist episode, and he's robbing a necklace from the Louvre. And it is excellent heist film, TV content. It is just, if you like heist things, this is a very good heist thing. And then, there's there's 4 more episodes. What is it going to be like, like you get a monster of the week on Sci-Fi, is it going to be like a heist of the week? And he's going to do but it becomes it doesn't do that. It becomes like a thriller, and it delves into his backstory and why this Lupin is his inspiration, and it's got a dark mysterious past with baddies that he's trying to confront, and it's turns from an excellent heist film into an excellent thriller series with slight elements of heist and little kind of pickpockety type sleight of hand stuff as you go along, so it still keeps some of those elements, but then you've got gunfights and car chasers and big evil conspiracy baddies, and it's just I don't want to go into too much because again it's one of those ones where you want to watch it really, you don't want to hear what's really going on, but it is excellent. It's so well made, and it's so all the actors, there isn't, I don't think, a bad actor in it. They're all excellent, and it's just very satisfying telly. I highly recommend, assuming that you can watch shows with subtitles, because some people can't, and that's fine, and I've no idea what the dub's like, so I don't know if I can recommend that or not, but yeah, if you don't mind watching things with subtitles, which I want to say you shouldn't mind, but also I get there's various reasons why people wouldn't like it, and we've had this conversation before, so if that's you, fine, but as that aside, go and watch this show. It is excellent. I do very very recommend it. And there's a second. Well, it's not a second series. It's they've split. Well, firstly, have you noticed Netflix has stopped? They've started trying to be fancy. They've stopped calling things series that they make and call them parts. Have you noticed that?
Sake.
Yeah, it's part
no,
1,
I have
part
not,
2.
But that's really snobby.
Yeah, they've done it on quite a few things that I've noticed recently. I'm like, oh, really? Are you just trying to be fancy?
I mean, in fairness, a lot of things do that, where they'll have season 1 is called book 1 or things like that.
Yeah, and that needs to get in the fucking ocean as well.
I mean, didn't Avatar: The Last Airbender do that? and like
I don't fucking know.
and
I
like
only watched I've watched the first episode 8 times over the space of 6 years trying to get into it, and then I just never watch it again. And I'm like, oh yeah, I should get back to that.
Anyway.
I should just watch the movie.
oh
yeah,
The Last Airbender movie fits into the same category as when I watched Dragon Ball Evolution, where I watched it
twice.
Yeah, where I watched it and I was like,
Why?
you know what?
I was on a plane and it was back from fucking Seattle on a plane, and I was like, I need anything at all. I can't, so I watched Dragon Ball Z Evolution.
But yeah, I remember watching both of those and being like, both times being, I am not into the source material, so I don't feel that betrayal feeling.
It's just monkey, but then there's let's make the dudes blonde. It's hot. Yeah.
But I was watching it and going, wow, I feel bad for fans of this, and I don't even know what it's getting wrong. Like,
oh my god,
they're just bad movies in and of themselves, let alone as adaptations.
Lupin, definitely recommend. There's 5 episodes in part 1 because parts, and there's a second part coming. So I think they basically made 10 episodes as a series and was like, if we release this half and half, we can hype it up again a second time, which is mildly annoying, but also fine because it's such good telly. I don't mind. Just give me more of it. I just need to get excited for whenever the next part's coming. But yeah, go and watch it. Right, go and watch it. Go stop the podcast and go watch it. It's excellent.
No, don't stop the podcast
right now. I'm literally recording a podcast.
Okay, not you two. Everyone else.
And if you are listening, please don't stop right away. Hit the like button and share it with your friends first.
Like, comment, subscribe, retweet, reblog, tickle my balls.
Tickle the bell. If you're listening to it on YouTube, tickle the bell.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% certain what it does.
It's basically sends you notifications, like the subscription feed is supposed to do, but it just doesn't because YouTube is garbage.
I like how YouTube added a second subscribe button.
Yeah.
Because the first one they
There's
made
a
not work.
tertiary one you can join now, which basically means you pay them money. I don't fucking know. Anyway,
it's like doing a Patreon, but rather than Patreon taking a whatever % cut, YouTube takes a bigger cut.
And
cool.
spits on your grandparents, I guess. If you like them, they spit on your grandma.
I like how all of YouTube's features, except for its basic video hosting, are all just a real mixed bag of kind of work and doesn't work.
This is the problem with monopolies. But anyway, anything else, Drum?
I have done one last thing, which I don't have. Oh god.
You broke your arm?
punch my headphones off my head, apparently.
Wow, you're really pumped about whatever this is. I can't wait to hear about it.
New headphones, apparently.
I need them. I really do need them.
Yeah, because you keep punching them off your head, you idiot.
I am a professional, if that is what professionals do. Prove me otherwise.
I'm professional.
Mine is staying on my head. Huh? Mine is staying on my head.
Well, okay, whatever you say, amateur.
I have been playing a new VR game on the Oculus VR. This was very kindly gifted to me by Michael.
Oh, nice.
I've been playing 40k Battle Sister.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm just initial thoughts for now, and I'll get into it. So far, I'm enjoying it.
Nice.
It's using a power sword and slicing through random people is amazing. Very satisfying. Yeah. It turns out I think if I had to do it in real life, if I had a gun, I just couldn't aim because I'm okay. Mouse and keyboard. I wouldn't ever say I'm good, but I can do it and I can aim and shoot people. In VR, and not just in this game, I was doing the same thing in the Walking Dead game. I just cannot aim with a gun. I don't know what's going on, but I shoot it. It just nothing. It goes miles to the side of them. I'm I don't know. I'm
all you
really
need to
bad.
do. You just need to get some zeroing in. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, maybe so far I'm resorting to just charging forward and getting people with the power sword, which is very satisfying. But I've been dying a lot because if you chase a space marine who's got a bolter and you've got a sword, you don't always get there in time.
Well, no. What happens then is you got to work up your dodging, and then you get to him, and then you fight for a bit, and then you're so overwhelmed with passion you just start doing big kisses.
Imagine it's a Chaos Marine, so
but,
even better.
Yeah, they're a bit spiky, but sometimes that can be advantageous.
People eat cactuses.
I'm just saying, be very careful making out with a Death Guard.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to make out. You can, like, I don't know, be a real slut and hold hands.
Whatever you're doing, you're getting a mouthful of pus if you're that close to a death guard.
Mouthful of what?
Pus.
I mean,
are you
No,
abbreviating?
I'm not.
I'm playing as a battle sister, so that's what they're getting, presumably.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just like, what? You don't use that word.
I'm talking about the horrific substance that builds up in our body when we are, like, injured and it gets infected.
Capitalism.
Okay.
Ribena tooth kind. I'd rather have a mouthful of. Was it?
So Warhammer 40,000 Battle Sister.
So I've not got far enough into it to have a definitive yay or nay, but so far I'm enjoying it. What my favourite thing so far, actually, like, you know, the gameplay is fine, and I was warned that the graphics might not be the best, but actually, like, they're better than the Walking Dead graphics. So, you know, and that's so I'm enjoying it so far. But one of the things I'm really enjoying so far is that something that you can only get out of a VR game is you can see the scale of things in 40k. Like when you've got it on the tabletop, and you know a mini's this big in 28mm scale. None of the models are 28mm, but like
the wrong size.
But even that, and then you've got your Titans or, you know, various things, and you can sort of see a bit of It's not as visceral as if you're just down at eye level, and because the opening like cutscene thing, you're just down, or the opening not cutscene, but like where you start off, you're there, and you just look up, and there's just two Titans fighting ahead of you, and they're just fucking massive.
Kaiju fights.
And it's just like, okay, you actually, you know, you've got to crane your neck quite a bit to see up to there. And even when you're like fighting, you're fighting various like chaos cultisty type people, and then a space marine walks around the corner, and you're just like, dude, you're fucking huge. And it's just,
Love it.
And like, I know that they're fucking huge. I know logically that they are, but it's just like, it hits you like I said, like viscerally, emotionally. You can say, oh god, yeah, that's massive. And it's something that I think you can probably only get properly with like a VR thing. Because even if you're playing like a first, like, you know, I don't know, Fire Warrior or whatever, when you're a little tower and you're fighting Space Marines, you don't quite get the size difference in quite the same way as if like you've got the goggles on and you have to like look up.
Yeah, I get
and
you.
I like that. It's very,
That's weirdly actually one of the few things that Eisenhorn Xenos actually got kind of right. That managed to do a decent job of scale. But obviously it's not going to do as good as a VR game, because that's one of the things
you're
VR
fully visually
works.
immersed, so, you know...
Yeah.
It's a bit like where the Halo...
like the little preview kind of like... I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's just a little shooter thing that comes with the...
Like Steam VR or something?
No, because it's a Microsoft thing, because it's Halo. But it's just a little. It's not even a tech demo, but it's just a little game that you can play. And right at the end, Master Chief walks around you, and he's fucking huge. And you go,
like, he's like 7 feet tall, and I was just looking up, going, "Damn, that's fucking cool." Oh, I feel cool. It was very fun.
But yeah, it is something that VR can do in a way that other mediums can't, really.
Also, there is a build your own VR bundle on fanatical.com.
Okay.
It's like you can get 2 for like £7. So I'm tempted, because there's like 1 or 2 in there that I'm like, that's fine. There's a boxing one, and I'm like, well, it'd be cheaper than getting it through Steam. But yeah.
Yeah, I will report back in a couple of weeks when I've learned how to die a bit less. Because so far I haven't found a difficulty. I haven't looked for a difficulty setting, but I'm dying a lot. But I think that's just because I'm bad, not because
as a person or the video game.
Well, a bit of both. Mostly the second, but I also because the sword is so satisfying to use, I'm just wanting to charge forward and hit them with my sword. But I think at times the game's expecting you to be slightly tactical and shoot things. Especially like the flying dudes that you can't hit with a sword. So yeah, we'll see.
I'm now just imagining you as a battle sister, just ineffectually waving a sword around as like a Chaos Raptor just hovering out of range, just going, I mean, you're not going to reach me with that.
Yeah, it's kind of...
And you're like, come closer, I wish to carve you up.
But the sword is so satisfying to use. But yeah, enjoying it so far. I will report back when I'm a bit further into the story.
I really wish I could play it, because we don't have.
It's an Oculus exclusive.
Is it? Well,
which is great for the consumer. Yeah.
Well, when lockdown, when I'm allowed to come and see you, I'll bring the Oculus up and
That sounds
you can jump on.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
Very, very, very last thing, very quickly I wanted to say, actually, I completely forgot about this, but I've been playing quite a lot of Pokemon Go recently, because they've had various events on.
Same.
And they had their big Kanto collecting thing yesterday, which was like
yeah,
12
they
quid, so I was like, you know what, kind of don't want to pay 12 quid for a shiny Mew, as cool as it would be to have a shiny Mew, so I skipped that one.
Oh, is that literally what you... No, I didn't even pay for it. I was like, fuck off.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
If it was like a pound, I'd be like, yeah.
You got a shiny Ditto and a shiny Mew. Basically, and that was basically the only difference you got from paying for it, from what I could see. Oh, and you got there was like they've done the collection challenges, so you have like a weekend to collect a bunch of stuff, and I've managed to do them all so far.
I have not managed a single one, usually because the last Pokemon in the bracket, it would just never appear for me.
Yeah, that is annoying when that happened. And the one we had to do shadow ones, you had to go and find a Team Rocket person and then find the right Team Rocket one and hope that
a shadow Stunky and shit. Yeah,
so it's been a bit tricky, but I've done all of them so far. But you couldn't to unlock the ones from yesterday. You had to. That was also part of the thing. Anyway, the quick point I wanted to make is that because I've been trying to find, because for this various things you've had to get on raids to collect them in time, and then even with this big day yesterday, there was like Mewtwo raids going on. I was like, oh, I want to catch a few more Mewtwo's. That'd be cool. So I joined various Discord groups for, Bristol, Pokemon Go and a few things, and having a bit of luck and found some quite nice people. But what I have been using to find some raids is an app called Poké Raid.
Okay.
I assume it's on both things. And someone recommended it, and I was very sceptical to start with, because I was like, oh, this is going to be some dodgy thing. And then to sign up to it, you've got to send them like a screenshot of your trainer profile page and your QR code. And I was like, so then
they add you as like a friend or something.
No, this is just to get onto the app. So then they can validate what level you are, so people know like if you're not just like a level 10 player going into the raid and you're not going to do it, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I don't know how they can use this screenshot to like rob my account or do something. But I was like, I really don't want to do this. But I did, and I've had a lot of luck. It's free, and basically people post if they've got a raid from anywhere in the world. You join the group, and it's quite good how you do it. Like, you join the group page, and then it's like it locks after like 5 people or 6 people, however many the max is that you can invite.
5.
I think you can invite 5.
So it's
6 people in the page, and then it's quite good. It just says like, right, you click a button and it automatically copies their friend code because the app knows your friend code. You jump into the app, you add them as a friend. You go back and you click a button saying I've added you in there, and once everyone's done it, there you go. Basically, whoever's hosting jumps back in and invites the most 5 recent people who've added them as friends. So it's like quite seamless. And I managed to catch like a bunch of Mewtwo's and a bunch of like legendary rares and things. I only wanted to mention it because I was so skeptical. I was just assuming it was some sort of con or bod. And there is like ways that they monetize it. Like you can pay for, when it's busy, it's quite hard because so many people are joining the raids and you can only have 5. By the time you've clicked on the page, it's usually already full quite often. So you can like pay like microtransaction type things. You can buy coins to then pay to get priority queuing into things and things. But I've just done it for free so far, and like it works fine, and it doesn't seem to have like robbed my account or done anything weird. So and there's no way that Niantic don't mind, because all you're doing, they're sending you an invite through the game and then you're joining them through the game. So, and all Niantic are doing it's not like a hack or a mod or anything weird. Or anything, it's basically just a way of making friends to do raids with, but quite efficiently, if you just want to do the raids rather than get involved in the community. Well, you know what I mean. If you just want to get the raid done.
You just want to do raids and
so if you're
people.
Basically like having a community group is all well and good, but sometimes like you just don't have the spoons to chat to people or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to say that I found it quite useful for like getting on various raids that I've missed out on.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. So yeah, if you fancy catching some legendary ones or whatever, and you're struggling finding people, give it a shot.
To be honest, I'm now just happy because I finally managed to, in a recent event, catch a Tauros, so I have the first 151 complete, which is really the main completion of the game.
Yeah, I did a raid because there was a Kangaskhan raid. and invited a friend, and we did it, and I was like, shit, yeah, that's me, and the Kanto deck's completely done. Game completed, uninstalled, literally burnt my phone, fucking got a new identity, avoided video cameras on the way to the airport, just, And
it's really a shame you've undermined the whole thing by coming back here to record this podcast.
I didn't want to, but I feel morally obligated because this is a commitment. I have committed to it. It wouldn't be right.
Yeah.
Also, my name is Diamante now.
Oh,
yes.
Very nice.
Thank you. You can call me DD for short.
Okay, DD.
Get out of my lab, DD.
Cool. Yeah, I had more to talk about than I thought, but that is me done.
Okie dokie.
Snipe.
Yes.
What have you been up to?
Fucking nothing new. Nothing new at all, really. It's been a weird couple of weeks. I feel that I've had more quote-unquote weird couple of weeks than I have had normal weeks where I do things.
Yeah,
in this
sometimes that
podcast.
happens.
But sometimes,
I mean, the last year has been a pretty solid, weird
it's been
time.
I've been having really weird dreams. Like, super weird dreams.
Good weird or bad weird?
Well, I did have a really bad nightmare the other day.
Oh.
But the thing is, it was like... it's like my brain is in my head and it knows what scares me. I don't fucking know. I don't trust the fucking thing as far as I could kick it, which is probably not too far. But yeah, like, rundown was basically... I was in this creepy kind of rundown block of flats where, like, no one had, like, a toilet or a bathroom in their own flat. There was, like, the basement that had that. And so,
not a good start.
No, and it's got really sickening kind of, like, pale, almost green fluorescent lights, and they're flickering. And I go down, it's like...
If it's green, that means you're in the Matrix.
No. No. And it's just like... And everyone there was, like, very nice. 'Cause, like, they didn't have anything, but they'd give you the shirt off their back, like, really kind of, like, the community kind of thing. And I'm like, this place is kind of spooky, but I like it. And, like, I'm walking down, like, the, like, veranda... What is it? Like, the thing on the outside of a block of flats that you walk around. Like the walkway, I guess. Yeah. And it's like, there's like old threadbare blankets over the kind of white peeled chipped wood, like the sun damaged wood and everything. It's just it's like it's barely held together at all. And and I walk down to this basement and it's like completely quiet. And I'm kind of like, no, I'm gonna be brave. There's nothing in there that can hurt me. Ghosts aren't real. This is silly. And it's this big, open, rickety, dark, old wood staircase with a bunch of, like, extension leads on it. It's got, like, an old carpet cleaner kind of stacked there. So it's, like, half storage, half just a really fucked up staircase. And
you mean our old house?
Yeah, and it just descends into fucking pitch dark. So I go down, and it's got that musty brick smell. And it was very visceral. And I'm turning the lights on because the wiring is old and it's like not functioning very well. So, you turn one light on and it kind of just about, and it's like there's multiple pulleys and switches because there's so many lights there because it's been like reshaped and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I don't need to go anymore. And then I turned everything off and I start walking up and I get halfway up the steps. And I kind of like the lights go out, like they're gone, and I kind of like I fall over like just a little bit, not hard, but I kind of like stumble onto my my forearms because I've got my legs stuck in some kind of like old thick dusty cable, and I just kind of like drag myself up because like the wires and stuff are starting to wrap around my neck and body parts, like my arms, and they're quite firm, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. And I look up just as I get to the top, and there's this old fucking like rickety window that's just ajar, and there's this sweet old lady just peering out into the evening, and I'm like, excuse me, could you help? And she looks at me and goes, okay. And then she, just as she kind of moves her head down to look at, like, to get a better look at me, her neck turns into basically like elastic, and she is just, her head drops and her neck stretches into this twisted, fucking veiny, like, it's like an arm. And her face, like, her eyelids just get sucked back, like, it looks like someone's taken a vacuum to her skin.
Honey,
honey. She's got, like, her eyes, like, just wide open, and she's, like, right in my face.
Honey, she was a John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah, but no, it was so fucking... I woke up shouting, actually, and then I text Wib going, I had a nightmare, can you come and hang out, please? The thing is, I used to be so much worse for nightmares, where I would like, I'm just not going to sleep for 3 days.
Yeah, you used to be a lot worse.
Yeah, but now I'm like, okay, that nightmare was unpleasant, it was just a nightmare, it's fine. Okay. But yeah, and the thing is, but that's the only nightmare I've had for a good while. Like, for quite a while. But my other dreams have been really, really weird. Like, I've been telling someone stream when I'm streaming. Like, oh yeah, so I bumped into my parents in this dream in the Derby Mall. Because Derby is where I live, in case you don't know. And I don't talk to my parents because they are the worst people. So, like, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta look away. So I'm, like, power walking towards the elevator. That's outside Greg's, by the way. And my father's chasing me like, oh, you, I want to talk to you. And I was like, I don't know that man. I don't know who he is. And then I bump into John Bernthal, who's not an actor in this universe. Yeah. Who is not an actor in this universe, and he's just got done at his long shift at JD Sports. And I'm like, and I give him a big hug, and I'm like, John, hi, could you, like, walk me home? Because this guy, I don't know him. Yeah, it's like, and that's, like, my other dreams. They're just so fucking daft. So, yeah.
But what have you actually done?
Lie awake, staring at the ceiling in some kind of existential dread-fueled nightmare.
Now, you see, that is a real thing you've done, yeah, so that's
fair.
Yeah.
I probably should stop doing it. I played a game. Just one new game.
One new video game.
Yes. Called Valheim, which was gifted to you by Alexis.
Yeah, Alexis sent that to us.
Because she is a good egg.
She basically sent me a message going, so you like Minecraft, right? And I was like, yeah, and then suddenly this appeared.
Yeah,
Hatsune Miku's done it again. It's actually, I played it on stream, on our Uncooperative Thursday stream with Longfang. And, yeah, like, you can tell it's early access with certain parts. So it's basically kind of like a survival game, like, I would say Fortnite, but, like, it's just kind of similar in the kind of building where you kind of...
Can I jump in very quickly? Is it single player or multiplayer? Or, like, you know, like...
You can play
but it's not like
massively
multiplayer type thing. It's not like a Rust or a, one of those sort of things.
No, you can just play it solo.
Yeah, okay.
And you basically get, like, chucked out into, because you need to, like, defeat these old Nordic beasts, and before you're allowed into, like, Valhalla.
Okay.
And you're like in a weird purgatory.
Okay. Yeah.
And you've got, like, objectives, and you can craft stuff. And one of the best things about this is that if you have a crafting table and you've, say, broken your pickaxe, you can just go there and repair it for free. You don't need materials or anything. It just repairs it. It is so helpful. So awesome. It's got the same kind of Minecraft thing as, like, you sleep in a bed, that's your checkpoint, that's where you respawn if you die. You do drop all of your gear when you die. You also lose all the skills you get, so it's a little bit Elder Scrolls, where you just keep jumping and suddenly you get really good, you level up your jumping skill and stuff.
Yeah, that's quite funny, because I've played a bit of it, I haven't had a chance to play much of it, but yeah, it's just like, you're running along just jumping merrily, because you're like, well, this will level me up.
Yeah, exactly. And it's got, like, roaming monsters, and, like, you don't, like, starve to death or anything, but, you get negative, like, you get, like, debuffs for, like, not eating and stuff, and it's, like, it is pretty jank, but, like, there is something there, and, like, my biggest issue with it was, Longfeng and I made it to the second area. Because, there is progression. It has boss fights as well, so you can fight a big boss and then progress. And we got to a place where I died, and it was like a 5-minute fucking walk. From the bed I'd last slept in, all the way to my gravestone.
Oof.
And then I got there and died pretty much instantly again, because there was like a big fucking, like, goblin in the woods just murdering us. So that was fun. Apart from that, like, kind of annoyance, like, yeah, it's fun. And it's like, I don't know, it has like a really kind of fun, Unreal, like the original Unreal kind of look to it. Like, it's, it's like PS1 kind of graphics, and I dig it.
Yeah, it's got a very retro-y kind of look, but a retro-y that... It's funny, you know how, like, when you say retro, like a retro style game, everyone kind of has it in their head of kind of an 8-bit or a 16-bit looking thing.
Now it's retro.
Yeah,
to be like PS1, PS2.
Yeah, now a lot of people are starting to get into I say now, it's been the last couple of years, but getting into like PlayStation 1 era sort of retro look, which I'm very okay with, considering that's video games to me, because that's my generation.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm very enamored with the whole D-make idea of like, oh, this is the Last of Us D-make, and it's just basically like the same game, but they've just redone it so it looks like it was on the PS1.
Yeah, it's like someone who's working on...
I really like that.
Yeah, someone who's working on a Bloodborne thing, but remade to the PS1, which admittedly it's just Nightmare Creatures.
But the thing is, it wasn't done by Kaleo, because they did the fucking
Nightmare
for the Fifth Element game, same developers.
Yeah, I can't remember. Was it Callisto? I
think it's Callisto or Callisto. I can't remember. I think it might be Callisto, but yeah. And it's like, Nightmare Creatures. It's like, that's what we need. Just that, but not jank. So yeah, go for it. But yeah. So I've been enjoying that. Like, again, it does feel quite early access. So, buy it at your own risk. But no, I see a lot of potential there. And, looking forward to seeing how it's done when it's finished. Cool. And that's basically all I've been up to that I haven't already spoken about.
Okay.
But yes. Wiblet.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
What have you been up to?
A few little bits and pieces.
Okay.
Nothing kind of major, because I've been working on the next Codex Compliant, which will be out after this. But it'll be a little...
once you get to the end of this podcast, we'll release it.
Yeah, when you, in particular, Jeremy, have finished listening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a handful of little things, bits and pieces. So I've been carrying on watching WandaVision, which is pretty great.
Huh.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, I need to check that out.
Yeah, honestly, because a lot of people are talking about it, it is something where I would recommend, if you're even slightly wanting to watch it. The episodes are only half an hour long.
Okay, you're talking to someone who has crippling mental illness issues. It's like it could literally be a minute long, and I wouldn't be able to bring myself to watch it.
I'm not talking about it from that perspective. I mean that if it's something you really want to watch, it's worthwhile watching it now, because there's bits from it that people aren't going to be able to keep a lid on spoiling.
Well, I mean, fucking Google spoiled the point for me.
Exactly.
Like, I literally, on my phone, I was like, oh, I'm going to go and look at Barra titties, I don't know. And, like, it was the top fucking card under my search bar was like, WandaVision spoiler, and I'm like, really, motherfucker?
Yeah, and because a lot of the show is, it's about...
Google knows how often I brush my teeth. It doesn't know I haven't watched fucking WandaVision yet? My ass.
And because it's about the mystery of what's going off and, like, it's unfolding... Yeah, just if you're interested in it, it is really cool. Enjoy it a lot. It has also... I mentioned it last time, I've been, like, starting to, like, get through the other Marvel stuff that I've been, missed out on the first time, because I think enough time has passed since Endgame came out.
Yeah.
And I kind of blitzed watching a bunch of Marvel stuff to, like, fill in some context.
You get burnt out real easy.
And there's so fucking many of them. But I found that when it comes to Marvel stuff, I actually think a way that I found to watch it is that you don't treat it as a movie series. You treat it as a TV series, which with very high budget and very long episodes.
Basically, the cinematic Avengers universe is just Western One Piece.
Kind of.
It never fucking stops, and there's fucking stacks of it.
But it effectively, you know, that sort of... I started viewing them as more like watching episodes. And that I burned through like a handful of ones I hadn't watched. Like I watched the Ant-Man movies, which I'd just missed out on before. Mostly because it's Paul Rudd, the main actor, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know because Trix Mattel, very famous drag queen, is obsessed with him.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people are quite obsessed with him, and I've never quite understood it.
like, you know,
he seems like a nice guy.
No, this
but,
is the
like,
thing. This is the thing. From like the surface stuff I've seen of him, it's like someone you'd like to get a beer with. You know, you get a drink, you play some pool, you talk some shit. You know, a good buddy. But I honestly I don't think I can't even imagine him as a sexual being.
Oh, that's how they're into him.
Yes, sexually.
I just didn't even that thought didn't even cross my mind about that. No, he seems fun, but he doesn't seem. I don't know. Yeah, no, fair. If you're into him, fair. No,
it's like he strikes me as
but...
like he'd be like one of the angels from Dogma. Like he's just a Ken doll. You know what I mean? Like just nothing sexual about it. I'm like again, like I'm not saying that in a mean way. It's like especially because I thirst after literally so many things. I'm not going to say people. Things.
Yeah.
Things. Like dude, steak pie. All steak pucker pies. You know I'm a slut for those pies.
Okay, I'm going to pull us away from fucking pies back to the original subject for a moment.
No. There's a different type of thirst. It's like a thirst, but you want to eat something.
You're talking about hunger, dear.
I have a mighty hunger for pie.
But yeah, I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of Paul Rudd. Don't hate him or anything, but just I don't quite get the appeal. Like people talk about it being like so funny, and I'm like I don't really get it myself.
Honestly, he'd be so much prettier if he smiled.
But. I was watching this and I was going, you know what, I actually, because people had said that it was really, the Ant-Man movies were quite good, and I watched them, I'm like, you know what, they're not, like, amazing or anything, but they are kind of just a bit nice. Like, his relationship with his daughter is just kind of lovely. And especially when you get into the second one and his relationship with his ex-wife and her husband is just really...
You told me one part and I literally just could not help but daw so hard I nearly broke a tooth.
And it's just really sweet. And I was like, you know what? That was actually something just really pleasant to watch because of that kind of stuff. And yeah, I quite enjoyed those. Also, the big fight at the end of the first one, a large portion of which takes place on a kid's train set, is great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. I also watched Doctor Strange. I can't remember if I mentioned that last time, which is definitely a movie that exists. And
It's
I have
fine.
watched. It's fine. It's not terrible. It's.
I love his fuck ass like awful wig. His fucking terrible wig. Where they're just like, you know how people draw Reed Richards with like literally 2 squares of duct tape of like, you know, graying at the temples. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just do that.
Honestly, I didn't even notice it. It didn't. Yeah.
Also, am I the only one who like Benedict Cumberbatch? Whenever he talks, his voice is always so much deeper than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah?
I get that.
It's like, is it Jensen Ackles? He's like one of the Supernatural bros, the Supernatural buddies.
Yeah, he's one of them.
Yeah, his voice is just like fucking. It's just like you are like causing tectonic disturbance, sir. Like, I saw him in, like, one of the there's a Scooby-Doo skit, and he was in it, and I was like, there's no way that man speaks that.
Is there, like, a Supernatural episode that's literally in Scooby-Doo?
Yeah, I remember, like, seeing him interact with the mystery, like, gang.
Yeah, I've never seen a single episode of Supernatural, so, you know, I
don't care. But, yeah, so... weird. But, yeah, anyway, sorry, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, but, yeah, so I've been getting through that. I think all I've got left to watch now is the Hulk movie that stars Ed Norton.
Oh, no.
Because I think statistically no one's watched that.
You should put like a strip, like an A3 strip of green cellophane over the TV and just watch Fight Club and pretend that it's just like this really weird.
Are you suggesting that Brad Pitt is the Hulk?
I'm saying that he's like... Well, I mean, you could view the Hulk through the lens of toxic masculinity and societal kind of pressures. like pushed on men and masculine people in our society, and how it can be a strength if you're stupid, because even though you think you can weaponize it in a certain way, it always ends up hurting you and those you love and yourself.
Should probably read those Immortal Hulk comics that I've got.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, that's
and then don't buy any new ones, because one of the artists on it is the right piece of shit. But yeah, so I've been getting through. So I think I've got that and Spider-Man Far From Home, or whatever it's called.
I've got that to watch.
Those are the only.
I think I've watched that one.
Yeah, those are.
I think it's really good.
The second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time I want to watch it, I just accidentally watch Into the Spider-Verse instead, which is better.
I
don't know.
That.
I'm not saying anything bad about the other Spider-Man films. It's just that Into the Spider-Verse, whatever the other things are, is better.
Yes.
Can I just ask, Drummer Matt?
Yes.
Because you're a gentleman of refined taste. Peter B. Parker is so attractive, isn't he? He's got that little tummy. He's got messy hair. He cries in the shower dressed as Spider-Man. I mean, what's not to just jack off over?
You're just describing me now.
Yeah, no, honey, this was a stealth confidence boost for you. You love me.
I do.
Weirdo.
But yeah, it's just those two movies I've got left to watch now, and then I've seen the whole of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not counting a bunch of the TV series, because I honestly don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I do.
But aside from that, I also watched a sci-fi movie called Space Sweepers that's on Netflix now.
Okay.
It's Korean.
It sounds okay, right? Okay. Yeah.
And it's a little bit disorienting to watch, because it's basically they have like a Star Trek style universal translators, but that means everyone just speaks whatever language they speak, and so there'll be a conversation where one person's speaking Korean, one person's speaking French, and one person's speaking English. And so flicking between subtitles and listening to people speaking your language, it can be a bit disorienting.
Speaking as a lowercase d deaf person, I don't find that to be an issue. Everyone else needs to get on my fucking hard of hearing level.
It's changing gears. It's not like just flicking between listening to someone and then reading something isn't an issue, but it's flicking gears from reading subtitles to listening to someone, because the subtitles on Netflix don't always subtitle the people that are in English.
Yeah, I definitely have to wear either headphones or hearing aids for that.
So that is a genuine issue that I noticed, and because some people do flip between speaking another language and speaking English as well.
Okay.
So it gets.
Is it like kind of like a Spanglish kind of thing, where it's like an amalgam?
I don't know. I there's one person in it who I don't know what language they're speaking. It sounds a bit like a kind of Creole language.
Maybe it's like Chinglish, which I don't like the word for, but it's
Yeah. I don't know what they're speaking, so I'm not even gonna hazard a guess.
I kind of want to check, because that sounds really interesting.
It is really interesting. But it's the classic science fiction thing. So like recently I've been watching a bunch of like old sci-fis, like the kind of Star Wars knockoff things, your Star Crash, your Battle Beyond the Stars, things like that always have the vague plot that involves a bunch of misfits, outsiders and criminals all ganging together to save
our friend group.
Yeah, to save the universe, like in a beat-up ship. That's just like a really common
Firefly.
Yeah, the Firefly kind of thing.
Also, I just want to say, I'm not going to dwell on it, but fuck Joss Whedon. He's a piece of shit. Yeah.
But yeah, it's that kind of thing. So like the main cast, you've got like a criminal guy, like a guy who used to be like a criminal. There's a fucking robot.
That's Drummer
who's
Matt.
Great.
Drummer Matt is the robot.
And yeah, I don't know. There's just something like it's not perfect or anything. It's got some parts that are a little inelegant or whatever. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It's like 2 hours long, so it's not a huge like drain on your time as far as these things go. So
it just sounds like it's really cool to see like
I said its name, didn't I?
Korean, Space Sweepers.
Space Sweepers.
Yeah. It just sounds like it's really cool to kind of see because like sci-fi, you kind of associate it, like especially that kind of sci-fi is very Western.
Yeah, I'm used to seeing the interpretations of white middle-aged men. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it like sounds very, especially what you've told me like off camera about it. It's like it does sound like a really fun take on something that we're all very used to.
Just like fucking a robot standing on top of a spaceship, hurling harpoons into space debris to go so they can take it to earn the money they need.
Beautiful.
Also, there's definite readings you could have in it of being a very anti-capitalist
Any
like vibe to it.
Good
so...
sci-fi is anti-capitalist.
Well, yeah. But yeah, it's
society can't continue into the sci-fi future if it remains capitalist. But
almost as if.
Can you imagine how fucking depressing that would be if it was true?
Wouldn't it be terrible if the world is really heading to a bad place and science fiction is a place to get away from that?
Basically, the 10 billionaires, or like trillionaires, we should just eat them?
Like, no allegory here, just physically eat them.
Just physically. I mean, look, if the Dutch...
In Minecraft.
If the Dutch can do it in Minecraft, then we can too. Okay, don't, look into that. It's really actually quite fucked up.
Yeah.
They got fed up with, their prime minister and just marched in and just fucking ate the bastard.
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
wild.
To be fair, if you were some shithead politician who wanted to go and I don't know, starve children or whatever in fucking the Netherlands, you'd just go in there and be like, wait, they did eat some guy pulling this shit.
All I'll say is that Boris Johnson would probably be an eighth less of a prick if he was at least mildly concerned that the public were going to break into number 10 and eat him.
I mean, I might do it just because I'm sick of his bullshit.
Just to send a message.
Just to send a message.
Anyway, talks
in
about the cannibalism of elected officials aside. Apart from that, I've also played the demo, anyway, of Dakka Squadron, which is
cool.
new 40k game. Where you play as orcs in Dakka jets and shit, flying around. I've only played the demo for a bit, but it's an interesting one because it has a lot of stuff that just really kind of nails a tone. The music's quite good. It's ridiculous, over the top rock music, which is fine for orcs. Like that, I'm down with that. And you've got orcs and grots yelling at you, telling you stuff, and it's all written in a very orky way. And there's little touches like, you pick your clan, and that gives you certain buffs, and that dictates the main color of your plane. Although you can change different tones within that. So I decided to be a Death Skull, and that means my plane is blue, which means I think it's like an increase. I can't remember exactly what stat it increases, but it means basically I'm lucky because blue is lucky.
Blue is lucky.
But then the other colours that you can apply have similar effects, and they are canonically fixed. So if you put purple on it, it gives you a stealth effect because purple is a stealthy colour. Yep. And if you put yellow on it, then you get more Dakka because bad moons are yellow and they're big into their ranged weapons.
Red goes faster, etc.
Red goes faster, Yeah, and it's all stuff like that, which is that's a really cool way of integrating, changing the colour of your thing, but making it fit within the thing. Yeah. Well, it does mean, of course, that there will be, optimal builds that won't necessarily be
you're but my favourite
nice
colour's red, but I want Dakka. Oh.
But they don't seem to be, they're 10% buffs, so, they're not
it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, things. IVs in Pokemon Go are like that, but it's still a fucking bugs.
True. Although I will say, I can't really get on with how the game controls. I've tried it with both a controller and with a mouse and keyboard.
Well, there's your problem. You have to pick one.
Well, the thing is, I found that a mouse and keyboard is way oversensitive, but the controller is not sensitive enough. And I feel that at some point I'll find an exact point where I dial it in to the right sensitivity on one of those that I'll like it. But as it stands, I'm I've had a bit of trouble trying to find the right point, because with mouse and keyboard, because it's both oversensitive but because your plane has like a limit as to how quickly it can turn, it'll be like 1-to-1 movement until it's not, and I found that really disorienting.
Yeah.
But I'll play some more of it and hopefully get it. I'm not sure if it's actually out yet or not. I don't think it is.
I don't think so.
But it's something I'll have a proper look at because it's orcs and I do like my orcs, so Actually, on a Warhammer kind of note, I also have been painting a third-party Dreadnought model that I got hold of, which I won't say the people that made it because I emailed them about it of like how comfortable they are with it being talked about because copyright and stuff.
Even though it is different.
It is different, but it's basically a modern fan sculpt of a Rogue Trader Dreadnought that's the size of a Contemptor Dreadnought. Huh. And yeah, it's really cool. I've not got much left to paint on it, but I've been enjoying doing that because, it's scaled up. Like, the lines are a bit sharper, but it's also physically sculpted rather than a 3D printed thing, so it's got the same... It's not organic, that's not really the right term, but it's like the... inconsistencies that you get with something when a person has sculpted it rather than it being done in a computer where everything's going to be exactly the right size that they need it to be because they can just duplicate things. So it does end up feeling like a better version of the original model rather than... I don't know. I don't want to say like a 3D printed one can be a bit soulless because that's not true, but it's... There's a different vibe to a hand sculpt model to a 3D printed one,
Yeah.
And so it's definitely got the hand sculpted kind of vibe to it. But yeah, I've been really enjoying putting that together. And you'll see it in my painting logs. I'll have no doubt finish that when I put the next one up.
And also, if you do know where we've got that from, please don't mention it in the comments or anything because we don't want to get the thing in trouble because. This is something that, while I don't think there's any moral qualms about it at all, because it's like, well, you can't fucking get one anymore.
Yeah, they haven't made that model for 30 years.
Yeah, and it is like, it is a custom sculpt. They have like taken multiple elements from Rogue Trader Dreadnought.
Yeah, it's not a 1-to-1.
It's not a 1-1. I don't think...
I don't actually know where it stands in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't
want to go into too much. Yeah. I've mentioned it on Twitter, but a lot less people follow me on Twitter than follow the channel, so But yeah, so that's been fun. Last thing to mention is an album came out that I really enjoyed, so I just want to mention it. A band called Best of the Worst, who are either I think they describe themselves as either a ska band with post-hardcore parts or a post-hardcore band with ska parts.
From what I listened, I hadn't heard of these guys until you shared a few tracks on Twitter saying, I'm looking forward to this album or something. And I listened. From the 2 tracks that you shared, I'd go for the second option probably. The
ones I shared, the ones that they released before they put the album out, are some of the heavier things on the album.
Okay.
So
yeah.
The album's called Better Medicine. Came out a few days ago when we're recording this, and I really enjoyed it. I've been trying to get back into listening to new music again, especially by new bands.
I just discover weekly on Spotify because I'm a garbage human. And it actually is pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this week's been a bit of a bust because it's like, hey, you listen to some fucking, like, 6-string picker, songs and fucking...
What?
Like old cowboy music.
Oh, okay.
Country and western.
6-string picker.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how you play cowboy guitar.
Okay.
I'm sorry you're not well versed in the country verse.
It's like one of those things where I'm like literally a guitarist and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that reflects more on you. But yeah, and then it was like, hey, I also like industrial metal. And it's like, hey, do you want just like really terrible dubstep? And I'm like, no.
I mean, industrial country could be a fun mix.
I'm trying to think of a portmanteau and it's just not happening. But no, I literally have some of that as well. Like, like I like that kind of stuff. But when it's just like, okay, so we're going to give you like, where it starts off and it's just a high pitch, like, and you're like, okay, I don't dislike electronica. I just really dislike all the fucking electronica that Spotify has picked out for me this week. Because it is fucking shit-ass garbage for days and I hate it. It's not just a bad playlist, it's a personal fucking attack.
It is that thing. I think it's something that you tend to realise as you get older and you listen to, if you're into music anyway, because not everyone listens to a lot. But if you're into it, you slowly realise that most of the genres that when you were younger, you were like, oh, all electronic music is shit. You realise that actually it was just the stuff you'd heard was shit. Or you just didn't like anyway.
Regardless of the genre, there is a song out there or a band out there that plays that type of music that you will love.
It's why I always say, there are a couple of bands out there that, saying you hate all their music is probably inaccurate because, say, Queen or the Beatles both played so many genres across their career you probably like at least one song, but you just might not have heard
I have
it
a few Queen songs in my library. I have no Beatles songs. None at all. They made a lot, and you will probably like some of it. Oh, I probably will. I just don't care. I don't care to seek it out because I'm old and stuck in my ways.
that is fine. That is fine. But yeah, I also listened to some of the people from Best of the Worst are in a band called Thirsty Guys.
Same.
So I listened to their album as well, which is quite fun. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that because I don't get to talk about music very often.
No, and you are a bit of a music nerd, which reminds me. Oh god, I literally just sat there staring at this guy's last name, trying to remember it. I am such a fucking white privileged dickhead. Pimento on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Jason...
I never remember actors' names anyway, so,
Yeah, but yeah, he is huge into really weird, obscure music and vinyl.
Okay.
He's like, oh yeah, this is a South Korean electronic street band, and they've got, this released on vinyl, and I'm like... What?
No, I really liked it.
And it's just a bunch of people hitting milk jugs, and then there's one fucking huge amp stack and one guitarist just
shit. I know who you're talking about.
Oh my god, you do! Oh.
Is it the ones that use barcodes and shit?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Of course you know who that is.
I don't know what they're called, but I've seen videos of them, and it's fucking weird. I think actually I might be thinking about different because you're talking about jugs and stuff, whereas they do it with all electronic things. They've got TVs that are built into guitar necks.
Maybe?
And it uses the electronic interference and stuff to create weird sounds. Yeah, I think we are thinking of different things.
Okay. But yeah, no, and he was just oh, it's really good. Or there's oh god, one of them was oh, this is Bosnian spoon playing, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's that kind of music that when you're really into music, it doesn't sound like fucking music.
Captain Beefheart.
Captain Beefheart shit, yeah. If you ain't know who Captain Beefheart is, fucking...
Trap Mask Replica is a fucking wild ride of an album.
It's an audio hallucinogenic nightmare. It is
5 very good. It's what happens when you get
a bunch of really good musicians to make an album. They just go fucking. It's they slip into the 14th dimension and just go absolutely fucking apeshit.
It's weird. 5 people playing 6 different songs that all start and end at the same time.
It's fucking weird. Yeah.
And they're all in time, they're just not necessarily playing to the same time signature.
Everyone's in time, apart from Katy Perry.
No, it's actually a really weird thing when you get into talking about music, when you have even a small platform online. Because I'll talk about a band and I'm like, oh, I really like this band, and then I'll look at their Twitter account and realize I have 10 times their followers, and I'm like, oh, this feels wrong.
See, usually I get the
because I'm my platform is online, so of course I'm going to have a bigger platform because that's my main platform. In a band, that's not their main platform, but so it makes sense. Yeah. But it's just weird to me when that happens. I'm like, oh shit.
See, usually I see talking about music online is very much like complaining about Dark Souls. You get people coming out going, oh my god, you think that's hardcore? I listen to goats being fucking shagged or whatever. And you're like, okay, who the fuck are you and why did I ask?
Honestly, though I don't say it to people, I don't get that because I'm that person. People
I know when I hate you.
People will go oh yeah, this is this band's really heavy, and I'll listen to it and I go, I literally listen to ska bands heavier than this.
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't ever say that out loud because you're not a dickhead.
I don't say it to people because I have some degree of like self-awareness.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to mention, and I am done. So I guess we should move on to the questions, which after having a couple of ridiculous weeks of far too many questions and we instigated new policies.
Now we have like none, so please send us more questions. I miss you. I miss us.
But we are still going to we are still doing the thing of one question per person, just to make it simpler.
Wouldn't it be funny if we just immediately rescinded it? We're like, no, we like having lots of emails.
No, we've got a suitable amount of questions, I'd say.
Yeah,
it's like a sensible amount, though. It's the end segment of the podcast, not the second half of the podcast.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
Which, to be honest, as much as the questions are great, probably makes more sense.
Yeah. Also, Drummer Matt, what's the email address?
It is thedrummermat at Snipe. No, at God damn it, thedrummermat@gmail.com.
Okay, please send your questions there. Well, question. Singular.
Yeah. Oh no. Send as much as you want, but I'll only pick out one question. So if you can make it really obvious which one that is.
Yeah.
But I'll read through all the recommendations and send them.
And also, Drummer Matt does not read anything in the subject line, so basically.
Apart from that one time someone tricked me into it, and I hate them.
Wow.
I can't remember who it was. I probably don't hate you.
Okay, whoever it was, write in. Tell him he's a fuck ass.
Actually, I just want to quickly ask you something, Matt. And I mean, I could ask you this off like mic, but I'm not going to.
It's fine.
Which is, how many emails get sent to that email address that are like weird brand deals? Because I get a handful of them in the main.
Yeah, thing. Not too many, to be honest. There's like one or two an episode.
Do we ever get anything that's worthwhile like taking?
No. It's all. Well, we did once. But mostly it's just, I've watched your channel and it's good and I want to make you money but actually scam you.
Yeah.
You know what I think I'm going to start doing? I'm going to start doing a Jim Sterling. They had it fucking sorted. I'm going to email like fucking adamandeve.com and be like, hey, you want to sponsor me?
I mean, Super Bunny Hop had an Adam and Eve sponsorship.
What did they send him?
I don't know.
That's a bit of a personal question.
Yeah, it is a personal question. My favourite one was when repeatedly we got sent emails from a company that made phone cases and was like, we'll send you a free phone case if you review it on your channel. And I'm like...
Yeah, our fucking Warhammer 40,000 channel. Yeah, Hi gamers, what's up? Here's a fucking... phone case.
Like we have had several eras of the channel where we've done different things, but none of them cases have featured. Yeah. So it was one of those things where you're like, yeah, you just got our name on an email list, didn't you?
Yeah. Anyway, Drummerpod.
Anyway, what are the actual questions?
Some questions. So first up,
hello,
Mikkel.
Hello, Mikkel.
If you could remake any movie of your choosing, what would it be and why?
That is a dangerous question.
Yeah, I know, right?
Ooh, okay.
It's such a good question that I can't think of a single answer for it.
Okay, so I take a shot if you're shocked by what I'm about to say. I literally just went through my mental my mental checklist of what I would change, and all of it basically involves either nudity or sex scenes.
You see, the thing is, I know you're saying that,
or
but
a weightlifting competition.
Like, if you were actually thinking about it seriously, I don't think any of those things would come up.
I don't know. How much better would Star Wars be if it started on some fucking raw dogging?
I don't think it would be, no.
Oh, I think it would be.
I actually don't think it would be.
Oh, Luke, what that lightsaber do?
That's not the vibe of Star Wars. I don't think it would work at all.
I am being deliberately silly.
Like there's because I'm one of those people that isn't like super jazzed about remakes quite often because I like quite sometimes there's things where I'm like, no, they made an old movie and I like watching the old movie and it's fine, but I do understand that sometimes you want to have something to make it in a new because like old things can be hard for people to watch.
I've got it. Now I'm not going to say I came up with this entirely myself, but I remember it was a Tumblr text post that was saying, I want to basically get millions of dollars so I can basically remake the Twilight movies and everything is exactly the same, but Edward is played by Kanye West and he has not read the script. So it was like, your skin is pale white. And it's like, bitch, what? So yeah, I would remake movies and put actors in them that didn't know what was going on.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, and also Twilight Hate, it's a bit boring. Like,
At this
Sarah
point,
Zed did a really good video on it. But yeah, like, remake, like, 50 Shades of Grey, but it's with Papa Smurf as Christian
You just
Grey.
want to get weird. You just want to remake movies, but basically like deep fake them
Yes!
with weird shit in them.
Well, shit, that's attainable. I can just do that.
Yeah, that's just
So
a
yeah,
thing you can just
Lion
make.
King, but, you know, like, Darkwing Duck is Scar. Oh, that reminds me, I did forget I, like, watched something. Shit! I watched the fucking live-action remake of The Lion King.
Okay, well, since we're not in that segment anymore, give us a sentence-long review of it. Okay, you did it in a noise. That's even better.
Yeah, I'm really good at mouth noises.
Yeah, good work.
Thanks.
Good work.
Yeah.
That does actually line up with every review I've ever heard about it. This is just
They change certain things, like, and I'm like, okay, like, I will just very quickly say, be prepared. Everyone loves that fucking song, and
It's the best song in the movie.
They didn't really do it as a song. They did it as just him kind of like Scar like talking about it, and it's like, okay, you can't even begin to try and live up to Be Prepared. That song is fucking legit. So yeah, I kind of like, I understand why they took it in the way they did.
I remember hearing someone did like a metal version of it, and I was like, yeah, I'm down for this.
Be Prepared is fucking great.
That was great.
And also, I am a weirdo, and I do really like The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. And the Scar equivalent in that, her evil song, which is called Zira's Lullaby, is fucking awesome as well. But yes, I forgot to say it. I'll talk about it more next time. If I even remember what a Lion King is.
Probably not.
No.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I guess like only things like to remake, I'd say like would be good for a remake, are movies that weren't good the first time round.
I'd remake Suicide Squad, but I'd give it to Marvel.
I mean, effectively, there's a new Suicide Squad coming out that's being done by James Gunn, so that's kind of what happened
Yeah,
in a
was
way.
just being a dick, yeah.
Like, I guess actually, you know, I was talking about last podcast about how I'm not as excited as like many other kaiju fans for Godzilla vs King Kong, but I suppose actually that's kind of what they're doing. Is the original one wasn't super good, so now they're making a new one, so it has a chance to actually be good. So fair dues. That's actually probably a good thing to do a remake of, because the original one was kind of mediocre. So this has now a chance to not be that.
I would remake the Spawn movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you could definitely do it.
Because, the movie was so fucking entertaining for the wrong reasons.
You know, I'm
like
just
with
thinking...
the Power Ranger talking and John Leguizamo just doing his thing.
I'm actually thinking about it, and I there is that interesting idea of that, like, so when something stops being a remake and is just another interpretation of the same source material. So if you
I mean, like The Watch, that's just a reinterpretation.
Yeah, like...
obviously, because it's from a book, but...
A good example would be, now there's another one being made. There's been too many Fantastic Four movies, but none of them are remakes of each other, because they're all just coming from the same source
They're
material.
all just yeeting stuff at the wall.
And even, like, sometimes you get stuff like King Kong versus Godzilla, where, like, they're not going to be based on the same... Like, they're the same concept, but they're not going to be the same story, because... the same story would require the setup of the original movie, which doesn't exist because the setup in that universe has to be different because they've both had their own movies separately.
Oh, I know. I would remake the Hitman movie, but Agent 47, because he's like the guy who plays Agent 47 in the Hitman movie is the same guy in The Mandalorian Season 2, who people will know. I'm not going to spoil it. Who basically nicked off with another Mandalorian's armor.
Yes.
Yeah. And I just have him dressed like he was a Mandalorian. Like, just because that would be funny. Basically, the only way I would remake movies is by basically doing, like, the change character, like, costume cheat.
Yeah.
That's literally all I do. It'd be like, Home Alone, but Tim Curry's dressed as Frankenfurter. Actually, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, Matt, have you got any thoughts on this?
I don't. I'm struggling to think of a single film that I'd want to remake. I'm sure as soon as we stop recording, I'll have lots of answers.
Oh, absolutely.
And insightful things to say. But right now, I honestly don't, I'm afraid. And
Yeah,
I've had a few days to think about this, and I still haven't thought of anything.
Or, like, you know what? I would remake The Shadow, but actually cast East Asian people. Because, like, there's a big
let's
whole kind
remake
of,
all, like,
Mongolian-
whitewashed films.
Yeah,
and just make them, like, better.
I think that's the best use of this power.
Yeah.
It's not
Because
the answer
there's-
anyone wanted, because it's not
Because it's
fun.
a bit depressing.
But it's probably the best answer.
Yeah.
Like I've seen too many Total Recall like style remakes to be like, oh yes, we definitely need remakes of good movies. Like,
Yeah.
you ever seen the RoboCop movie? If you have, you don't remember it. The remake, that is.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
He had a head, a heart, and a hand.
Well, yeah, he's got to whack
He
off
had to have a
somehow.
hand so that he could
Whack
jack off, I guess.
Yeah.
His non-existent penis.
Me as a fucking robo-scientist, like, well, we gotta give them their hands so they can whack off if they're interested in it. Or, like, they can knit. They can, like, that, literally, the two genders, jacking off and knitting.
Matthew, what's the next question?
Right, next question. Octavian.
Hello.
Let's say, for whatever reason, each of you had to fight an exact duplicate of yourselves.
Oh.
How would you go about distracting, disarming, or otherwise defeating this duplicate?
Okay, do you want the funny answer or the depressing one?
I don't know. Probably funny.
You're probably funny. Okay, I'd just be like, hey, you know what I just found? I saw a fucking, like, 40,000 word fanfiction. Slow burn romance, enemies to friends to lovers. And it's right over there! And then I just fucking uppercut myself because I would... to be fair, I don't think I'd be able to uppercut myself because I'd be looking for it as well.
You can trick yourself.
I can't outsmart myself. I'm too clever. Or if I can't outsmart myself, does that mean I'm too smart or too stupid? Ah. Wait, what about you?
Well, I think that witnessing a fight between two versions of me would be just kind of sad.
I don't know. You can take a punch. Well, I mean, when
Yeah, but I can't give one, so it'd just be...
Okay, like, just for like clarification, I don't hit whip.
Oh no.
Like, he's my sparring partner when I do, like, boxing at home. He's the pad man, and he's Padme.
I would probably distract myself. If you want the joke answer, I'd go, hey, look, there's a Mark 1 Terminator model, new in blister, and I'd go, you're lying, and then it'd just be depressing, because I am...
Was that the funny or the depressing answer?
Both of them. Both of them.
See, my depressing answer was way more real.
Yeah, I can almost hear it. Yeah. And I don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what I do is I just go, if I wanted to distract myself, I go, have you taken your anti-anxiety things today? And I go, have I?
And then you crack.
And then I can take myself down.
Then you beat yourself with a steel chair.
Yeah, there you go. That's funny and depressing.
Yeah. Drama butt, what about you?
Oh, well, first, I couldn't fight myself because I couldn't fight anyone. I mean, you've met me. I couldn't fight another anything. But
I reckon you could fight a bedsheet.
I do actually. Yeah. Go on then. When I try and change the bedsheet, so that's quite a fight. You ever try changing duvet covers is a nightmare. Anyway, that's not the question.
That's how you distract him. You talk about duvet covers, and then he's like, "Oh."
There you go. Dude, I just got this score. I just finished this song on Beat Saber on Expert Plus. I bet you can't. And then I'd probably fall for it and give it a try. And then while other me is wearing a VR headset, like, you can do anything to them, you know.
Could you please rephrase that?
You could
put hat. Okay, I am not comfortable with Drummer Matt coming out with shit. I would say this is wrong and weird. Is this what I've been doing to people?
Yes.
No, it's everyone else that's wrong.
Yes. This is
Nah,
you.
no, because if I stop to think about what I do, maybe I won't do it anymore, and I don't actually care. Because I just want to talk about butts and barra titters all day. So.
Next question.
Very quickly, Octavian said their favourite Pokemon is Golett and Golurk because they're both friend-shaped golems.
Okay.
Good choices. I notice how they're the only person who's answered my question, but okay.
Yes, I think they are this time. You had quite a few answers last time.
Yeah, this is true. I was quite happy.
Brandon, I have a magic item shop in my D&D homebrew called Oddities and Almost Cursed Items, and I want to fill up the shelves. Question: do you have any homebrew magic items that are silly/slightly cursed?
No, but I can think of some.
But I would like to have some. Go on, Snipe. Can you think of one of them?
The gloves of ever slipping.
Okay.
Basically, you put gloves on, and you know how like you kind of put them on and then they fit snug. They always start coming off just at the wrist.
Ooh,
like
yeah.
good. They're like good defense, but like they're always kind of like peeling down over your thumb joints and stuff. So you've always got to be like pulling them up.
I would like a magical orb of translation. Which you hold the orb and you activate it with some kind of magic word or anything or something, and it will look for, say, some text that is written nearby, and it will translate it. Unfortunately, it always translates it and then reads it out in a language that no one in the party can speak.
Nice.
That's good. I like that.
I like Drummer Matt. What about you?
I'm struggling to think of any because Brandon also wrote in some of their items that for us to have a bit of a look through, and because I'm reading them, I'm struggling to think of anything else.
Okay, I've got another one.
Go on. You can do my honorary one.
A pair of boots that always squeaks.
Ooh.
Yeah. Is that too cursed? I feel that's maybe
possibly too cursed.
That's possibly too cursed. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Do you want to hear some of Brandon's? They're pretty good.
Yes.
So, first up, Belt of Attunement expansion. So it's a magic belt. It requires attunement, and it's what it does is it lets you attune to one extra item while you're wearing it.
Huh.
But because it requires attunement, it doesn't actually do anything. Which I love that, because at first read you're just like, that is great, extra, so I can be attuned to 4 things. Excellent. Wait, no, the belt require. Oh, and I just love that sort of split second it took. The second it took me to like realise, I'm like,
it took me longer to realise
yeah.
Because I had to hear you say why it was a problem. Yeah, and I was like, wait a fucking minute.
I love that. That was excellent because at first glance it does look useful. Yeah.
How about a healing potion that tastes like a greater healing potion?
That's just things that you just add. I'm a big fan of adding in unnecessary detail.
This large boulder the size of a small boulder. That's just how my brain works.
This is a small healing potion in the bottle of a large healing potion.
No. That's in the spirit. Or it's like, this is a healing potion inspired by a healing potion. Like they do on Etsy. Where it's like, this nail varnish is inspired by Jennifer of Vengerberg. And honestly, I want to do a porn parody where it's Jennifer of Vengerbus. I just realised that's... Okay, I'm going to pause for laughter. Everyone's going to laugh at that because it's very funny.
That's one of those jokes where you sit there and you go, like, I understand.
Oh, don't worry. When Longfang listens to this, he will send me a death threat via text message. Don't worry.
Okay.
It's fine.
Not
everyone will get it, but the unfortunate ones will.
I mean, it's not really anything to get. It just is what it is.
It's a joke. It's funny. Ha ha ha.
All right, some more items quickly.
Okay.
Hammer of Slashing. It's a magic weapon, any hammer, and it's a hammer, but it deals slashing damage rather than bludgeoning damage.
That is so like, hey, fuck you. You know what? You pissed me off during this session. I'm going to give you a hammer of slashing. I fucking hate you.
Braces of Invisibility. It's a wondrous item. Magic braces. While worn, the wearer becomes invisible, but only to themselves.
I've got a better one. You make those braces, and then you turn invisible, but it's just your skin.
How about a magical sword that moans when you swipe it?
Or when you unsheath it, it's just it sounds like a donkey coming.
I don't even want to know why you know that.
Well, I didn't say I know it.
Okay.
What you imagine.
What I imagine. It would sound a little something like this. Like, someone unsheathing a sword. There's a donkey in a field somewhere that every time it like jizzes, it goes whoosh. Because they've got to come from somewhere. Amusing. Yeah.
Very last item.
Yep.
It's Cake It. It's a tiny oven. Once per day, placing a handheld, non-magical object into this tiny oven causes it to produce an exact replica of it, except that it's cake.
Okay, that is an easy bake oven that I need to own. That's fantastic.
There's a there's a 1d10 roll off to find out what sort of cake it is as well. One of them, you please note, is Battenberg.
Okay,
the rest aren't. So you've got a 90% chance you're not going to get angry.
Also, I think that has like I would definitely get that with my character Nathan, because he has kind of like he has my kind of harebrained scheme stupidity and not enough intelligence to realize how fucking stupid it is. So what he would do is he would get that and he would charge people money and be like, I guarantee you, like, you know, I will turn this into cake or whatever. Or like what would happen is like he would make like fashion out of clay. Like he'd be like, oh, lost dog. And he'd make a little dog out of clay, put it in there, and he'd run back and go, I'm sorry, I found your dog, but it was turned into cake. And then get the reward, and then they'd have their cake dog.
What? Could he not make it out of clay? As I found your dog, but it turned into clay.
Really okay. That's a bit far fetched, Matt.
Part of me does like the idea.
Like seriously, like cakey monsters. Yep, that's what I'm going for.
Yep, good.
Yep.
Like cakeomancers.
Cakeomancers.
That's a very serious concern.
Yeah.
So and like the only way to cure the spell is to eat the cake, and then
you don't have to eat
soul...
your dog. That's
but
I found your dog. The only way to make it back into a real dog is to eat it.
It's been dead, dude. The way to eat it is like that. Basically, that releases its soul to Valhalla because it died in battle.
This has got awfully grim. I was going to say, I do quite like the idea of having like really obtuse kind of items, and then just giving them to the players to try and see what they do. Like I was just thinking about I want to make a magical item. Like it doesn't really matter what it is. Like say a book that you read from, and it gives you the ability to transfer your consciousness into any grape in the world that you wish.
Yeah, but you don't know that. See, now, my take on this is...
No, because the point is you give them that, and you obviously don't tell them exactly what it does initially, and they have to figure it out. And then when they figure it out, you then get to see how the fuck would they like to see how they would use that. Because then I can imagine you'd end up with a party going, okay, we need to find out what's going on in here, so we need to smuggle grapes into that room.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah, okay.
this is my version of that, where I would basically, as a DM, just be like, you find a nice silver ring. And I don't make out that it's magical or anything at all. And then it turns out that this ring has a really specific thing with it. So it's like, if you walk through a door, like if you walk through an archway made of limestone, it will teleport you to a different dimension. Or like it will teleport you to like the nearest like place where someone is thinking about you. And then they'd just be like, sorry, what? And you'd be like, yeah.
It's always done that.
It's always done that. You just didn't check. Basically, just like you could do so much cheeky shit to your players.
Really need to finish off writing that intro to a campaign. That
I'm bit
doing.
Concerned now. Anyway, yes.
All right. Very last question.
Okay.
Seth.
Hello.
This is a question aimed more towards Wib.
Oh, I see.
So, I was wondering Wib's thoughts on an idea I had to create some winged seraphim for Age of Sigmar that looked like pterosaurs. Because they have fire dwarves and ice ogres and flying dwarves and chameleon skinks and ocean elves. So flying reptile men doesn't sound like it's, too far out of the realms of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, well, they do have I can never fucking remember what they're called, but they do have, like, pterodactyl-style troops which have skink riders on the back. So there is a precedent there.
Well, yeah, one of the questions is I don't know how you would play them on the tabletop, but the idea of them is too good for them to pass up. So they're sort of saying, so that's quite a good thing for that. They could use them as these guys, but as like accounts as these other thing, potentially.
Yeah, like if you're going for like a sort of regular lizard man sized thing, but with wings, like say using I guess you'd probably use like what's the Tyranid flying units called that I always forget the name of?
Hive Tyrant.
No, the little ones.
Little ones?
Yeah.
Ripper swarms. No, fucking... Oh.
There are flying Ripper swarms, that is true. But
yeah.
but yeah, the little...
How big are they?
The harpies, the little ones?
I think so.
I
don't know, I don't have any, so I don't know them.
Yeah, that's fair.
I
I operate like that quite often, honestly. But yeah, if you're gonna like say taking those wings and then say giving them to like skinks or lizard or like just Saurus warriors or something, and then trying to run those as like a kind of pterodactyl style thing. Like they're a lot smaller than the existing troops they've got that are like that. So you're sort of stuck kind of doing them as either something that doesn't have fly, but you're pretending, or running them as an existing flying unit, but then having to try and find a way to bulk them up. So you could either have like multiple of them on a single base representing one of these bigger units, or say have them running like, I guess you'd have them running like chameleon skinks or something, because those can move further. You could do something like that.
And they're more funner.
But yeah, I'm not like I couldn't really help too much because I basically know the parts of the Seraphim like battle tome that I have. I know those because I've just not had a chance to like play the game properly. So the only things I've tried to learn are the things I actually have.
Yeah.
So I can't help too much. But I am a big fan of, if you've got a fun idea, do it and then try and figure out how to run them.
Yeah, it does sound like a cool idea.
Yeah, because that does sound like a fun idea. So yeah.
Even though you didn't want our opinions, we thought we'd give you them and compliment you on being very creative and cool. But I guess you didn't care about that, so fine.
I mean, they did aim it at the person who literally collects Seraphim, so...
Okay. You want to get technical about it, fine.
It is the logical solution.
Well, facts and logic, I get it.
But that was the last question you said.
That was the last question.
Okay, excellent. Anyone got anything they want to say before we wrap up?
Yeah.
But you're not going to. Interesting. Well, I guess thank you very much for listening to this episode of the MisanthroPod, and we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and now I'm going to say, if you had to, like, wear the bones of any animal, what would you wear? But it's like, it doesn't have to be real bones if that makes you feel a bit squeamish. That's fine.
Just bones, because bones look cool.
Because they look cool, yeah. So they can be like plastic or like whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, okay.
And this can carry on like, like fantasy creatures. So yeah, I'd have a crate dragon skull. Just maybe as a ring.
Just carry it in a truck behind you.
No. I'm really strong. Okay. It'll be fine. I'll use the force. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Whatever. Well, goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Take care of yourself and stay hydrated, you thirsty benches.
Bye.